Welcome back to the Coin King channel. I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. So we're getting that pullback we've been looking for here on the Bitcoin chart. I'm gonna tell you something right now because I know a lot of people are not going to pay attention to this. I realize that we're at the golden pocket. I realize we're getting a little bit of a reaction down here at the golden pocket as we've been breaking these previous day lows, correct? We have a VWAP that sits down below here in between this golden pocket and the 786. We also have our initial momentum line here that sits at the 786. So I do believe that there's still room for us to come down a little bit lower, maybe range around this area in here for a little while longer before we see any attempted move to the upside. What we're getting right now is bear divs. And most people tend to not pay attention to the bear divs, only focus on the bullish divergence. But the reason we're not going up, even though you see us continue to be in a state of weakness on the RSI, is because every push up is a bear div that pushes price back down. And until we get some sort of a fast candle that breaks price out, until we see some sort of an expansion take place, we're going to continue to put in those bear divs. So just be mindful of that when you're taking these positions in here. I would treat them like scalps. If they give you more, they give you more, but have your stop loss in place so you're not sitting here losing your money. So take a look down here. I'm going to show you a couple of bear divs that we put in here. So we have this bear div here, and this entire time through here, that's all we've been doing. So from this push down here to, and my settings are slightly different, but even here you can see the weakness in the RSI. So momentum was very weak. And a lot of times when you get that weak, or you get that that strength to the upside, you start to put in divergence on the move. So again, bear div coming in here on this play right here from this potential double bottom. Now, I cannot say right now whether or not this is going to play out. All I can say is if you're taking the long here, be sure you're putting in your stop loss, because I think that there's still room for us to come down a little bit more, or for us to range here in this area for a little while longer. Now, 4 hour is starting to shape up rather nice. And that's what I'm basing my analysis on right now, is the 4 hour time frame, just showing me that we still have some room that we can move to the downside before we start, before we finish out these bear divs that we've been putting in here in price action. And you can also see here, you can see how we're not even making it above this midpoint in here. Like, we have these moments where it look like we are, and as soon as we come up here, that typically can be a short in here from what I'm seeing. And again, the reason is because of the bear div. So we're coming up above here, and every time we spike above 50, we put in a bear div. That's a move down. So we haven't spiked above 50 over here just yet. And we haven't shown that this is going to be we showed the first bear div that gave us this first push, but we haven't showed that this one right here is going to be a bear div just yet. But if you see that coming up and breaking back down at 50, then more than likely that's what you got. You got your bear div playing out, and it's going to push price back down here again. Same situation here. Come up above the 50, putting in that bear div, you're getting that push back down. Same thing happened right here. Got the bear div right here. Now you can't see the bear div on here because of the settings, but you can see the bear div right here. And then that drop below 50, and we continue to move down. And I think this was the last one right in here. No, that wasn't one right there. So yeah, just this entire section right here has been bear divs. Since we put in that previous day high, all of this has been bear divs. I'm going to push out here. 1 hour time frame. I did get a couple of buy signals in here. Again, I would treat it like scalp positions until it breaks. And right now, that's all it's been. I was looking at the idea of a little flag in here, but as you can see, we ended up breaking down below this trend line that was going from here through here. So this is no longer a thing now. We're not tapping that anymore. VWAP is sitting right here. where the stop is set for this signal that fired off, which is, you can see that's 89,402 there. And then of course, I was just saying to you, our next momentum line is right here. Same way we came down, tapped this one, got a bounce up, came back, tried again, failed, and got the breakdown. We could be seeing price come down through here, and that's going to put us down here where our 786 is located at as well. So this no longer holding. I just want to keep it here for a second, and I don't know why. I'm going to extend this one down a little bit. And you can see here, we're trying to get this breakup in momentum, potentially a little inverse head and shoulder. But this, again, it looks like it would be a bear div. We have the bear div confirming right here. So this is a bear div. Bear div. So be careful. I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat that, but I'm going to keep repeating it to be careful, okay? MACD still sitting pretty low in here as well. Not even beginning to rise. Now it has like a positive posture right here, but it had a positive posture right here as well. But it's not rising yet. It's not coming towards the zero line, which is going to be something important to the analysis. Let's go 4 hour. 4 hour, you can see our trend line down through here. Yesterday, we talked about the fact, go ahead and delete this one. This is where we got our breakdown from the top side here. We fired off the signal that actually pushed us down. We fired off an additional signal here, but we had this trend line through here that said, no, not yet. And then we fired off this signal in here, and then we can see we got the breakdown. Now we have a new trend regression line here, or regression line here. We're looking for this to break up. Now, when this does happen again, it's probably going to be a bear div, even though it might give us a bigger push to the upside than we've gotten from the 15-minute and the 1 hour time frame. It's still going to be a bear div for starters, unless we're getting some sort of an expansion. And this was our momentum line here that we broke yesterday. And we failed to reclaim it. And yeah, it's just been a continuation down, another continuation down from our trend break through here. We've already, for me, to be honest with you, we've already come in too deep inside of this area right here. So this is what we were looking for price action to hold. Even if I did it, I dropped a line in here. I'm going to change it from this line, and I'm going to put in a box. And I don't think that this is going to make a difference. Actually, I'm going to put it from here. And I'm going to raise it up a little bit here. I just needed to plot it somewhere. Let me find the highest point we had in here is something like this. And you can see, if we're losing this area too, if we're losing this, then we're increasing the chances that we're going to go down and take out that low. And I'm saying to you at the same time, the way I'm reading it, it looks like we can drop down a little bit more. I mean, whatever happens here, it has to be fast. It has to be fast. It has to be some sort of a wick left behind and we bounce, because we're losing this support level in here. This is where we struggled to get above, and I can't tell at the moment whether or not this is going to hold us up as support. We're close to seeing some sort of resolve in here, and I hope that happens, because the 4 hour does look like it's almost over. But I can't say that and I hate to be like that. I hate to be the person to come in here and do that, but that's a probability, okay? There's a probability that we don't hold here. Let me change this to, let's go blue on this one, because we're looking for this to hold. All right. So we'll see what we get. Generally, I prefer it down in here, but already as is. You can see right here that price action is moving slower than the RSI, um, giving us this bullish divergence down through here. And because we were so high in the RSI, it does typically mean that we get a swing back up. I do still anticipate that we're going to get to the $98,103 range. It's just which one happens first. Do we lose this area right here, drop down, and not manage to move fast enough from this golden from this 786, or do we hold here and just consolidate for a while and then get the bounce to the upside? All right. So this was our little situation here on the have us on a 20-hour chart just because I could see the signal. Now the daily chart did not fire off a sell signal. Nothing on that daily fired off a sell signal. The only sell signal came from the 20 hour and down. So those are the time frames that fired off a sell signal. Now I added an additional line through here. I have this one here. I'm gonna hide this one real quick. I have this one right here, and I wanted to make sure I got each touch point. Generally, for me, I don't like cutting through candles, which means I would have to drop this down lower because I hate cutting through candles. In fact, let me just do that now. That makes more sense since I did add this other line through here because I sincerely hate cutting through candles. And yes, it is a bear flag, club foot. That's what I prefer to call it, the club foot. That is what we have in here. But again, all of this, I mean, this would be the same thing that I was showing with that momentum line that we have, where I'm saying we could potentially come down here and tap this momentum line right here if we're not failing to hold these hold the high in here, which I mean, it really is not looking too great in my opinion, not right now. Let's take a look down here at this 20-hour oscillators and see what we got going on here. Not looking too good. Just at the zero. No really expansion. 20 SMA. And it looks like we may have broken. I think I want to, yeah, I'm just going to stick with what we have here on the daily time frame. Okay, so yesterday we did break back down inside the range, but obviously, we could use the smaller time frames to see that we broke the momentum down. We're just going to be looking to make sure that we hold this line right here, because if we're breaking this one right here, then that's confirmation. That's why I'm also saying too is it looks like we could still come down a little bit more, which means we lose that range, which means in our attempt to come back up, we could get stopped out there again. We can have some problems in that section again, but eventually I do think we get to that again. I do think we get to 98,000 to 103,000. I do still think that we get that relief bounce that takes us up there. It would be uncharacteristic of Bitcoin if that didn't happen, but um okay. So I just modified this morning for the new weekly Bollingers here, as opposed to how it was last week when we did see ourselves getting that break above the standard deviation one. Now we're just trying to hold that standard deviation one. That's why I'm saying that golden pocket, that top, that high from where we got the breakout, that's all very important right here. Because if we're not managing to hold it, it opens the door for us to take out this liquidity right here and come down here towards either this 78 or this 74 5 in here and take this liquidity, and then we see our bounce up to try to get into that. At that point I would have to adjust where the 382 and the 50% retracement is located at. If that happens, it won't be a big difference, but it would have to be adjusted if we're not managing to hold here. That's what's going to happen. Because the thing right now, and it's not just the resistance that we're catching from the lows in here for me, or if we manage to get up in here, it's not just that. And if I turn, just turn that off for right now. just so we can look at this. It's about being able to leave this, because if this is a rejection and we're not going to hold here, then we're just going to continue our cycle of bouncing in between this 1 and this 2. That's what we're going to do. And as many times as I've talked about this, let's see if the weekly gives us a good example on that. Bouncing in between 1 and 2. We can continue to hold it if this is not us being able to break above the 10. We could just continue this cycle. It would be just like here. We want to see us clear it, get above it, and flip it into support. That's what we want to see, because if we're losing it, we're doing this right here. We're going to break back down and we're going to take that liquidity off that low. Yeah. And so far, we're just, with these inside candles right here, we've only confirmed the club foot so far. That's all we've confirmed so far. So, and when that volatility happens, it's going to happen. And hopefully it is, hopefully it's this first one. Hopefully if that happens and we're losing this, that we're just sweeping the liquidity from here and then we're going to get the bounce. Because, we've already had the daily breakout. So I don't think that would be a false breakout. It won't be false expansion. Okay, so yeah, so the 20 is right here. 20 SMA is closer to this trend line as well as that, as well as the VWAP. They're sitting in the same spot. So them bear divs, I'm almost certain. I honestly am almost certain them bear divs are going to push us into this trend line. And then if we're not holding this one, we got this one, which I just moved to line up with this low. And then our last and final trend line sits at the standard deviation 2, which if we're not holding standard deviation 2, then we're expanding down potentially after having expanded up, and we're coming for this in here. Okay. That's what I think the case is. That's what I think it is, guys. Let's see what happens in here. Since we didn't confirm any sort of a bear div right there that moment. I did this one time before too, when we were flagging out like this. But it absolutely, and we got the break to the upside, but it failed. Trying to think where we were in this chart at that time when that happened. Right now, I can't recall. Okay. Well, we got this to watch again. Just been repeated bear divs. So make sure your stop's at break even if you've been playing this golden pocket. I mean, all you can do is try and then reassess the situation and wait for the next target to be hit. Ethereum's basically been the same situation. Right now, bumping heads with this previous day low in here. Um, I set the VWAP here for this range that we were doing, and simply too because it was respecting VWAP for a minute there. Um, you'll see right here, bear div right here for Ethereum. I also put in another bear div right here as well. No bear div through here, but it looks like a bear div just happened right here at this point too. So another bear div. And this one can still be invalidated, but at the moment, that's what it is. This VWAP is starting to turn down. You got this pattern in here. Not there. Close to trying to get some sort of a push out right here, but whether or not that's going to be an expansion or not, that bear div. But there is a pattern in here for Solana. I mean, Ethereum. Let me see where I put that at. Unless it's Solana that I put that pattern on. No, I think it's on this daily time frame that we have it. I don't really like this one for Ethereum. For Ethereum, it's going to be a horizontal. And that's what we have to look to break on Ethereum. It's not, it doesn't have the same structure that Bitcoin has. But yesterday we saw that we lost our trend through here that had been holding us up yesterday right here on Ethereum. Oh, here we go. So that was our resistance point right there on Ethereum. We're still holding the low of our support level. So hopefully with Ethereum, hopefully, I know that whatever Bitcoin does, Ethereum is more likely as likely to do as well. So this could be a place of return for Ethereum. Right now, where my cursor is, that's 2902 for Ethereum. If Bitcoin is going to lose this golden pocket and we're going to see targets such as the 786, then Ethereum could see this. Now you can also try for let me change this from a thick line to you can also try for this right here, which would be a smaller drop in here, and that's going to be about 3024 here for Ethereum. As I know, I said 3024. Let me see. Yeah, that might be right about through here. Just depends on when we start to. No, that's going higher. Yeah, but it could be something like that. Yeah, it most certainly could. If we get that drop in Ethereum, if it's not holding through here, then we could be looking at this right here. And that's just coming off of I just put this based on this this range through here where we started doing this rising formation. That's the other thing I also want to consider would be a sweep of liquidity, but this VWAP is curving down. So there will be some liquidity right here that might give price action a reaction. Get some sort of a reaction right here. Did I miss anything in here? I did not. Okay. So that's Ethereum. Solana at the moment is trying to hold our prior momentum line in here that we held for a little while until we broke down below it. We reclaimed it, and that's where Solana has taken a pause at right here. It's been it's been trying to hold it. But Solana is a challenge, and we were looking at this one right here. At least we started looking at this one about 2 weeks ago, I believe. And that's going to be first things before I start to entertain the idea of something much lower in here. And that's only if we're not holding it here, because we could, we could hold this if we're losing it. I mean, there's so many places that we could seek to find support. We could put in like some sort of an inverse head and shoulders in here on Solana. Trying to think how I want to do this. Yeah, because we could put in like some sort of an inverse right through here. And we could chop for a while before we can come back up. So I can delete that. I'm trying to ensure I didn't miss anything in here. Like we had already identified that we had some sort of a bear div in here on Solana. So like an SFP here on the RSI. I'm gonna move that up here now. Just trying to see what I'm working with. Okay. So this one, Solana, daily actually hasn't broken this moment. Okay. So that could be something that we're looking out for. Once it loses this right here, coming into this golden pocket 786, which could, and if it ranges here for a little bit, it could give it some sort of an inverse head and shoulder in here. We are still within our accumulation zone or our bear market territory for Solana, and we're aware of that. Here, this whole box right here. This is our bear market zone. I put this in here yesterday. I think it was yesterday when we were streaming, which is just the same as that golden pocket. I believe it was. Yeah. No, golden pocket's a little lower. So I'm just gonna delete that because even Bitcoin didn't care for it. We don't need this anymore because that was from the upside. Yep. So this is what I'd be looking for Solana. If we're not going to hold back above, if we're not going to continue to hold above that momentum line that we're currently at, then that's what's going to happen. See if Bitcoin wants to try again and actually break this, kill these bearish divergences that we've been putting in. I've taken some scalp longs from here myself, and I've set stop losses and managed to either get a TP out of it, or I just set my stop loss for my break even and didn't make anything off of it because it came back too fast. Um, and I haven't tried to enter too many trades simply because I know that we've stayed underneath here since back here. Well, actually, I'm gonna go with this one right here. We got that second push back up, and we just kind of stayed underneath here instead of beforehand how we were, um, rather holding it. So right now, this is my target. Right now, 786 is my target. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. Let's see what else we got in here. I'm going to get into gold. I did some back studying on gold this morning, and it's very interesting, the scenario for gold. Very interesting. So, last we were looking at gold. We were looking for a short entry on gold. We recognized that gold had a rising wedge in here. Now, initially, the thing with gold was that you could see like it put in this inverse head and shoulder, and you'd be looking for the target to come in here. I don't really quite understand how gold went from, hey, everybody throwing out this bullish pattern to just complete exhaustion trying to get this move to the upside here and putting in that rising wedge formation, which eventually gave us the breakdown. And what we ended up hitting here in gold from the top to the bottom here is going to be the 786 Fibonacci, which gave a good entry along with the I got to fix that, along with the rising wedge. So you can see right here where that entry is. Also, it's just slightly below where that 786 is. but that is where price action came back to for the rejection. Now you have seen like every time we came into a previous day low, we did get like some sort of a reaction. And again, right here, a little tweezer bottom, but none of this is really making a difference at all. And over here on the weekly time frame, this is something very interesting. I need to do like this. All right. So right here, right here, you can see that we have another rising structure in here on the weekly time frame. What line is this? So we have another rising structure in here on the weekly time frame. I don't have it drawn up to this line. I have it on this one right here because potentially we could be coming back into this. Now, what I did go back and look at, and what you see right here, these little green boxes, that's going to be the 382 and 50% retracement. So this is what happened with gold every time. That's a lot of studying I was doing down there. What was this? That's the MACD. I'm going to get into that one. I'm going to use these two right here. All right. So whenever the RSI gets up here above, let's just say 76. Whenever the RSI gets above 76, gold tends to get some sort of a corrective move. You can see it there. You can see it here. You can see it here. You can see it here. Every time it gets above that on this weekly time frame, you get that. And once it does that and it comes back in, it gets a retracement to none other than the 382 or the 50% retracement every time it did that. And I went back and I looked at this repeatedly here, above there. It gets a pullback to there. The only time it didn't do that is something like this right here, where it came into your golden pocket 786. This was typically something that took place along with the MACD being very, very extended. I'm going to go back and show you the MACD stuff in just a second. But here again, you can see how we're above 76 at this point, 76 here. At that time, you come back, get a pull back to the 382. Same thing right here. It's above, it corrects, it's going to pull back to the 382. And I did this all the way through here, like all the way back to 1980, blah, 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 blah. The other thing is really the MACD. So I put out a tweet this morning just saying, hey, either gold bottomed, it found a local bottom at this 382 where it got the correction from there to drop down to that 382, or it's going to drop in a little bit more and it's going to come down here to the 618.786. And when I said local, this is what I was referring to, the same field, but come in down, but come back to this 618 and that 786 right there. And then the worst scenario for gold is going to be that it comes in a lot further in here, which I think it'll be somewhere closer towards, might be this low right here. And this is why. And you can see the bear div in here. Here. And you can see it on this one as well. And these two settings are both different. And we have our trend line through here for gold too, where gold respectively has been holding through here. It's been holding through here, holding through here. And it looks like we could be coming to a place where this might actually break. It may break. But then here on the monthly, you can see this one here, and you can see how close we are sitting to come into this break right here on gold. Now it's not confirmed yet, but you see what that RSI looks like. 90. It's never been this strong. This is the strongest it has ever been. This 93 right here, which is absolutely crazy. And that looks like it wants to pop. And once it pops, you tend to come back to the golden pocket. Now, there were a few times when I looked at why it did not happen, but in those occasions, it didn't happen because from what I could tell from just the indicators that I used, there was no squeeze there on it, right? But with this one right here, this is actually lower. So I'm going with that to here. That would be this right here. And this is just me looking at historically how it has played out. And the reason why it has played out too, in the occasions that I did see it play out, look at that MACD, was because of this. You see that? I mean, you can barely see it, but you see this squeeze right here? This squeeze. And it's even printing out some sort of a pattern in here, a wedgie pattern in here on this indicator. And I set 2 alarms on it to see if it wants to break up or if it's going to break down or when it breaks down. This is something that breaks down. And every time we retrace to the golden pocket 786, it was because there was a massive squeeze on this indicator. So I'm gonna drop. No, I can't drop the MACD. So you can see where the MACD is right now. It's here, and you see that you can see right here. This one right here. It did not have a massive squeeze on it. What was this one from? I think this may have been from the weekly though, because if I pull it, I think it may have been, unless I just didn't delete this. So this is the low. I think we came up a little bit higher. Yeah, we came up a little bit higher. So yeah, this one didn't come back because it doesn't have a squeeze right here. So that one doesn't come back to the golden pocket 786. This is from the weekly. And this is because the weekly time frame had a bear div on it at the time. So the bear div meant that price action came below the 236. It came to the golden pocket 786. So anytime you see this on the chart, that just simply means that we had a bear div on the weekly time frame that brought us back into the golden pocket 786 instead of the 382 fit retracement. So right here, you can see how we got this squeeze in here. That led price down to the golden pocket 786. Anytime the MACD got high. Anytime the MACD got extremely high, so you can see how the MACD accelerated high, and you had this trend line through here on the RSI. Your RSI got above, in this case, we just say 75. The RSI got above 75, and you could spot a regression line through here. When it retraced to the golden pocket 786. And so it happens right here too, but this one goes all the way back, so you can see that. And I don't put the line in here until we get above here, and then I'll put it like for starters, it'll be like this, because now we're above here, and I'm looking for price action to come down and break this, and it did. It broke it, and then it reclaimed it. So that was the invalidation when it decided to come back up above here. And then from there, I won't plot it again until I can see that this is above here, and then I'll move it. And that's the only time it has to be moved, this right there. But there is no squeeze in here. And so that made a difference in whether or not it came back to the golden pocket 786. And you can see it did not come back to the golden pocket 786 because there was no squeeze. And then I go forward, and you can see the MACD is high in the sky, just like we are right now. The MACD is high in the sky. We got a trend line through here. We got a regression line. We're well above here in a very strong RSI. We're going to come back to the golden pocket 786. And that's giving back half. And you saw the squeeze. You saw the squeeze in here. And the same thing, I think, for this one right here as well. You can see how high the MACD is in here. And this was pretty good for back here. And this is 19. Lord have mercy. I have not even been birthed yet. I'm close enough. I think this is correct. Where's 34? Hold on. Where's 34? And I even memorized the fib level. I knew. I mean the price action. Where price action was at on this. So this ended up being the Pico high right here. I think this one just slightly missed it. Yeah, it just slightly missed it on this one right here. But the same thing applied every time there was some sort of a squeeze, along with a pretty pivotal MACD and a euphoric RSI. Whenever it broke below the trend line in here, and you can see it put in the bear div right here as well. Whenever it broke below the trend line in here with all of that, it came back to the golden pocket 786. So that's why I gave that um, third probability for this. MACD is high. This is one hell of a squeeze in here on this Bollinger in here. And we're close to some sort of a break here on this trend line in here on this monthly time frame. Now, I'm not confirming that this is going to happen because this would take a long time for it to play out. It would take a very, 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 very long time for this to play out. But it's possible that that could be the case, especially looking at that rising formation in here as well for that weekly time frame, that this is getting ready to break down. Now, I was saying to you, I thought that both gold, silver, and copper could possibly be gearing up for a breakdown. Lord have mercy. Stop me. Somebody stop me. I'm not even on the screen. I'm just talking. Ah! Jeez. My help is not here. My helper is not here. Like, hey, you're not on your chart because I don't get a chance to see if anybody else notices I'm talking and I'm not even on the chart. And I just spit out all that sauce, and my help did not chime in and say, hey, I don't see your chart. I wasn't on the chart before, sir. I need you to show up and show out with me. Okay, well, people, I'm so sorry. I was not on this chart before now. And now all of a sudden my helper is saying, you're on the chart. Yeah, I'm on this chart now. But if you were here and you was watching, you were hearing me talk about this chart. And I was not on this chart. I was not sharing this screen. And the thing that I was saying to you in here before I just now put it on this screen as he keeps talking in the background, he's about to get it. He's about to get it. Let's go. Oh my gosh. As I was saying, the RSI is extremely high or very strong. It's very strong, but you can see this trend line through here. Now there's an option for a second one in here, which I'm not used to. But you can see this RSI in here. It's really extremely strong. You can see this MACD in here, extremely strong. You can see this big squeeze in here on this Bollinger in here. And that's an indication that when we get this breakdown, their price can potentially come to this golden pocket 786. And it has happened every time that three combination was present. Anytime the RSI was like this, above, I mean, very strong like this, and the MACD was very strong like this, and the squeeze was present, price retraced to the golden pocket 786. It happened every time. RSI strong, MACD strong, and you can tell the difference. MACD strong, squeeze present. What do we get? From where our RSI sits low to there, we get a retracement to golden pocket 786. Now this was a retracement from 1900 to 1100. These are other times that we had like some sort of a trend line through here, some sort of a RSI that was high in the trend regression line. And, we got a little pullback. I think this was the smallest that ever happened, but we don't have the three combination. We don't have the high RSI in here. And you can always tell the difference. Like right here, you can tell that this MACD right here is, no, not that. This MACD right here is high. MACD is high. You see the squeeze in here. You see we're very strong here on the RSI because we're above 76 at this point, and we got as high as a 91 in here. And when that happened, from our low to our high, we retraced back to golden pocket 786. That three combination every time was what I found, even to this point right here. And like I said to you, this one right here, it skipped it just by a little hair right here. So we actually didn't have the squeeze in here, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. We didn't have this. Yes, we did. We had the squeeze in here. We got the high MACD, and we got the euphoric RSI in here. But this one right here, you can see how this one slightly missed that golden pocket just right there, and that's the first time that it did miss it. But every other time it happened, so it could be the case right now for gold. And of course, this would take a very long time to play out. So I'm not saying it's something that you need to look forward to happening right away, but it's something that could potentially play out. And the other thing that I was saying to you is that on the weekly time frame, what happens on the weekly time frame, every time gold gets above, right, currently it's about 96. So every time gold RSI gets above 96, you get a correction. So you get above 96, you're looking for it to drop back below 96. So the RSI has to return below 96. Now I didn't put any regression lines on it when that happened in here. But let's see. Well, you can see right here, we're above 96 right here. And then we're coming back into 96. And that's where you get your correction from. And we correct to none other than the 382 or possibly the 50% retracement. Again, right here, up there, retrace to where the 382 50% retracement. And the one that we recently had did the exact same thing where we retraced to just the 382, and then we got the 50 right here. Now, I don't think this is done because we do got a rising wedge in here. So I don't think it's done, which is why I'm really thinking, again, that monthly time frame, when the legs give on that monthly time frame, this right here may only do it could just only do the golden pocket 786 off of this same field pull, which is coming from this low to this high. It could just do that instead. So 618, 786. So 41 to 40,000. I mean, I'm sorry, 4,100 to $4,000 in here. That could be, hold on. I was supposed to delete that. I was supposed to down here. That could be what ends up happening instead of it holding here. Because the thing I noticed about it, when it didn't hold the 382.50, it was because there was some sort of a bear div in here. So you got a bear div right there. This was I put a bear div in here on this. Oh, the bear div is right here. I'm sorry. So we got a bear div through here. You got the first one right here, which led it to the golden pocket 786. So that was the second option for where price action is right now for us. And then it continued higher, and you can see it bear div through here, golden pocket 786. So I don't think that we're done pulling back on gold just yet. And then again, like I said, every other time, if we come up above 76 at this point, and I think I said it before, yeah, 76 on the RSI, you're going to get a correction on gold, which is typically going to bring you back here to the 382 50% retracement. Above 76 retracement back to 382 50% retracement. And I think I may have, yeah, I did a few more in here where you can see the bear div like this. Right, this was a huge, like you can see the RSI like this, and price action not so much, and it came back to the golden pocket 786. And I could do this all day long. I'm just saying, I just sat here and I did it, and I was like, oh, okay. Now I've learned something about gold because I've never really been into gold. Another bear div, and here you come back to the golden pocket 786. And again, we have that bear div on the weekly time frame right now with that rising wedge. So 382, 50% retracement might not be it. We got that golden pocket, and again, we got that deeper golden pocket for that monthly time frame when it decides it's going to roll over, which is going to take a lot of time for that to happen. But is there. And I did show you this pattern, or at least I thought I showed you this pattern earlier, but you can see right here on this with this squeeze that we got right now, it's a perfect pattern building out in here, just waiting for that breakdown on that monthly time frame with this tight squeeze in here. And I set an alarm on the top and an alarm on the bottom, whatever happens first. Now, because this RSI is so extremely high, it's gonna drop and then come back up again. Obviously, that's gonna happen because you don't get that strong of an RSI and not come back up a second time. So whether it puts in a lower high coming back up, or whether it just takes out the liquidity right here, and then we have to redraw that fib, and then that new golden pocket 786 be what we end up looking for here for gold. But now you know, if you're on your weekly time frame, what to look for. If you get above 76 on your RSI, be looking for a correction back into none other than the 382 50% retracement. And it has slapped every single time. If I push out here on a daily time frame, I mean, look at that. Look at the perfection of catching that bounce. The perfection of doing that repeatedly, just repeatedly until it gives you more. But repeatedly, all the way back to 1970, 60, 68. It has repeatedly done that. So now you know the recipe for gold. I'm going to take off these levels, prices. Now you know the recipe for gold. And come back in here. Might not hold this. Got this rising wedge. Be looking for that golden pocket 786 to get tapped. And I think like in those other occasions, I think it was like the 786 it hit instead. I think it was. I think it did the 786. It chose the 786 instead. No, it didn't. But it didn't care for that golden pocket when it did. This one right here did bounce off of it. And came back down and dropped lower, and this one just went straight through it. And I didn't even bother with this 886 because I know that it went through that 886 too. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say about gold. I'm waiting for that RSI to get back up there again. I'm waiting for it. and we're bear diving on gold as well. I was looking at it on the 30-minute time frame. Yesterday when I was on a live with you, I plotted this line in here. Because this one matched up with a Bollinger at the time. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to draw the line. Yeah. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like initially, I think I was trying to draw the line through here. And then I was like, nah, that doesn't match up with a breakout. If a breakout's going to happen, I have to move this line to how I got it now for a breakout above our standard deviation 2. And that was a smart decision. I always turn the Bollinger Bands on whenever I'm drawing a pattern because I want to see where that pattern is going to break down at. I try to legitimize the pattern, and you can see. And I heard somebody was saying that they had took a long entry on the breakout, and I could see that once gold got in here, I don't even have it on the line. I could see that once gold got in here, it was going to fail, and it was going to continue down. But it is not coming above. Let me put this like that. Let me turn that off. I don't need those anymore. Just right here. So it's basically been failing to get back above neutral. It's been failing to get back above neutral ever since it got the breakdown from the rising wedge formation, which would generally throw it back somewhere closer towards the low in here. That's typically where price action would come back to off of a pattern formation, such as a rising wedge or a falling wedge, back down towards the low. Now you can throw. I mean, I already think that, like I said, we hit this, but I think that we're going to roll over a bit more, and then this is that line from that rising wedge from the weekly time frame. So just be aware of that if you're in gold and you're trying to accumulate here at these highs, that you might see some extra drift to the downside. Now you can bank on, you can say, hey, I want to take a chance here. You can say I want to take a chance here, because in my mind, this is just sending me back here to back test the neckline of the breakout. But don't be foolish, okay? Don't be foolish. If it doesn't bounce from here, let it go. You can try it, and you can have it in your mind. Again, this is an inverse head and shoulder back test of the breakout. Now, I don't like none of this. I don't like any of it. And I showed you yesterday also how I entered on this position right here. And then guess what happened? I showed you how I got stopped out. Don't know how. And then I tried to re-enter my short position again. And somehow, I don't know if it was me or if it was exchange that threw me in a long position. And I caught it so quick, I closed it out. And then I was tired. I was like, screw this. So I'm not even in it. I'm not even in it. And then we looked at one for silver too, which of course, I'm not trading silver because I have to, I get told, let me turn my daily levels back on. And I think I was watching this one for now. Yeah, watching this one for now, because this is our rejection right now. We're squeezing on our daily, and we're squeezing on our week. No, we're squeezing on our daily. We're squeezing on our daily. Look at us go. Look at her go now. Might want to try the SFP, but I'm telling you, this stuff has not been working out. And gold, there's something going on, and everybody's hyped about it. But I think gold, silver, and copper, all of them, are about to nuke. They're going to nuke. And this one gave me a hard time. Because this was the second entry I had gave on the live right here. And then it came up, and you can see how it got that quick wick. It's gonna do that. You see how it got that quick wick right here. And then it broke through this rising formation right here, this rising wedge formation. And then it decided to double to head and shoulder, and then start the breakdown process. Now, I did not go through and do any sort of, analysis, deeper analysis on silver, but I mean, clearly though, we could see that, I don't know, it's just something wrong with these charts, these metals right now. Maybe they turn around and just prove me wrong, honey. I was even to the point, well, let me just toss this up here a little bit higher and see if it wants to come right here. But let's see about getting a bounce right here. Let me see what I got on right here. And daily, which can be wrong. But let's see how that goes right here. Right about this low right here. Maybe take that little piece of liquidity and get a bounce. But that's silver. And what we got going on over here. I was thinking that this one had the chance to come back up and give an SFP for the entry. It didn't happen. We were holding, because we were holding the top side of the previous high right here. I was thinking, okay, it'll come back up here. We can get an entry in here on the SFP. And if that didn't work, then I was going to look up here, which was like way too high. But since everybody was all excited about copper, I was like, I got to pay attention to this, because I think it's going to come down instead of, This no, I'll leave this one on here. But we were just, it was simply holding. I'm on a 30. Let's go daily. For a minute there, it was holding this top. So I figured it could come up here and give that SFP for that entry, but it started the journey without us. Now it has all of these places through here that potentially could act as some sort of a support level. And I didn't do any thorough analysis on this one right here. Now there is this trend line down through here. Let's see if I so there is this trend line down through here. It doesn't have the rising structure that gold and silver had on it. That would have been a nice little tap for us too if we could have got that. I don't know why this is so far away. What the heck? I don't know why that's like that. I have no idea why I put that all the way up there. You got VWAP in here, and that's coming off of this right here. You got VWAP in here, which also lines up with these highs in here. I didn't label this, but it's between this one and this one right here right now. Put this trend line through here for copper. And besides this, Bitcoin's still sitting at that golden pocket. So I don't want you to worry too much about that. I got my eyes on it. I got my eyes on it. Um, yeah, that was that bear div I was looking at in here, but it was something else that made me concerned about these three. This one is, and this box right here is basically me highlighting that candle. This is what I shared with you yesterday. This is me just highlighting, no, not that one, highlighting the daily candle as a place that price action may potentially hold. And the only reason why is because here on this 4 hour, as you can see right here, this is as low as the RSI has been getting throughout this part of this rise to the upside. That's as low as it's been coming. And it hasn't broken the momentum line through here just yet. Or it hasn't, yeah, it hasn't broken the momentum line through here just yet. So every time it got to here, it did bounce away, and it's here right now. So um, that's why with this one also I only set it for that low. But I don't know why the stop loss is all the way up there. That's crazy stop loss. Yeah, that's a crazy stop loss. I don't know why that's up there. So yeah, again, this could have met its low to probably come up here and give that SFP that I'm looking for, and then just if you're looking to get into an SFP off of this, I would just move that let's move that stop. Obviously, move the stop on this because I don't know why this stop is all the way up here. I don't know why, unless something fired off, and I don't even have that on over here, so I couldn't have fired off any signals. And that's just for the longs because it was only getting that low. And see, it fired off a, yeah. Mm. I'm still thinking that SFP happens on this one. And then that would be a short entry. And let me take a look at the weekly and see what that was giving me on this one. Nothing really. Got some strong low bias, but nothing really for top bias. But strong low bias um, down here. It's a good place to buy. Um, it's not really going below its mean, but you would have to adjust your settings to get that mean. Hmm. I got nothing on that one. The other thing I was looking at, which is Exxon. We're still holding that golden pocket on Bitcoin because Exxon, I'm a little too late to talk about Exxon in here too because um, that had already happened right there. Exxon could be a buyer, could be a buy right now. That would have been the one time you got it wrong. I think this bounces up from here. There's a good possibility that this actually bounces up from here. Momentum hasn't exactly shifted just yet, but this might. Yeah, this might be a bounce zone for this thing right here. It's still at the top though. It's still quite euphoric. Still quite euphoric. I'm put you here on the weekly time frame. You can see the levels that I have built out in here for, and these are new to price to what's happening with price action right now. So it's not it has nothing to do. Well, actually, some of this does have to do with this back here, but these are the levels to really watch for in here on this. So big rejection point right here. If this manages to push in, I'd be looking for a next rejection here at 134. And if it manages to break down below here, I'll be looking for support here at 110 on this one right here. But it looks like it's probably at a place where, ooh, no, don't want to be at this place. It's not above. It's not up here anywhere. So actually, it's the middle of the range. Forget it. It's the middle of the range. I don't know if this even leaves the middle of the range. Yeah, it's the middle of the range. But in terms of support resistance, that's what I would look for on it. You got this trend line right here, which currently is going to be like 114, and then you have 110 and you have 106 in here. But these are the first two that I would believe that price action would get some sort of a reaction from right here, are the first three. Obviously, I don't think that you get it back in here. This was like a range place right in here. I need to do some better analysis on this thing right here. But anyway, metals, trust me. And I'm not your financial advisor, but just know it ain't looking good. It's not looking good. And just because it takes a long time for it to play out doesn't mean it looks good. It's not looking good. All right, let's see who else we had in here. I had a whole bunch of noise going on over here. So we're still just sideways ranging in here. I got these levels in here on, but really you don't need that. Because we're still just sideways ranging. So you can just drop this VWAP in here and just play that along with your fibs in here, along with your fibs in here. And you know, we talked about that yesterday and we talked about that right there. And those two are from the previous day stream, but this is just the range here that it's in right now. And this is where that VWAP is plotted. The anchored VWAP is plotted here, and you can basically see how we hit them. And it tends to respect golden pocket Fibonacci retracements. I took a short, I mean not short, but a long yesterday. I hated to close it out, but I took it on Palantir. But before market was preparing to close, I closed it out because I stops don't get hit and take profits don't get hit when the market is closed on BTCC. They let it run straight through, you know. So if it had a dropped on me, then you know I'd be in the water. And because I'd missed the bounce, we talked about this golden pocket 786 a couple of streams back, but I had not come back on the chart again until yesterday. So when I looked at it yesterday, we had already tapped into the golden pocket. So I ended up taking the long position on this, and I did it from here because we were already several hours into these candles right here taking place. And the reason why I took the long was, number one, we did hit the golden pocket. I took some profit right here at this golden pocket on the move up, but I only managed to get in right here. And when I saw us, first of all, we were like this, and I was like, great, I like that. So you know, we were breaking through here, and I could tell we were going to go ahead and break through, and then that was why I jumped in here and I took this long position right here. I hope it comes back down today, because if it does, then it might open the door up for me to give it another shot. And sadly, I only managed to take partial profits out of it before this little red candle right here happened. I was like, nah, gotta go, gotta get out. 4 o'clock was ticking on me, and it was that's what I shared yesterday. That gold one, but that was the little position just right here when we were crossing up, and I managed to get in and get out right there at the, as you can see, the golden pocket tap right there. I'm looking for this to not hold and give a pullback, and then I'll get another entry in on this. I think that this is looking pretty good. And I really don't need to not today run through Intel like a boss. No, I couldn't stand, well, not stand. I did like Intel. I absolutely liked Intel. I just feel like it's a little bit overvalued right now. Um, Simply because I know more about their chips. But yeah, and now it's starting to flag out. That's good. But like I said, above here is great. Above here, it's getting ready to do some things. And I should go in here and plot the next level in here that I can see for it. If it manages to flag out and get a break up higher in here. So about 74. About 74 on the RSI, unless it puts in some bull divs, you'll get about 74 and you'll get a correction on this one. 74, 74, 74. And you can see how it, you might, so you need to do this right here. You would need to do this. But 74, 74, but no actual, no, you wouldn't have got a breakdown. And she got a little bit of a correction, 74, 74, 74, kind of sideways. 74. You're gonna get something. You're gonna catch some kind of a trade off of 74 on Intel. So let it come back up there one more time. As it looks like it might be trying to do. That could be the one that brings it down a lot lower than these little moves right here it did above 74, above 74. Hold on, what did gold just do? Oh, the 10 bar trying to come back up. I don't think we had anything else. Hold on. Thank you. Just putting in some bullish divergence. Nobody gets to short Novo, okay? I love Novo. All right. Yeah, I don't really need to go through any of this stuff right here. Did you see that tank on Walmart? I told y'all yesterday. I said I should just short this thing. I should just go ahead and short it from that golden pocket. But I put out that tweet again. I did put out that tweet. I didn't like the monthly time frame for Walmart. But the most it's been willing to give is about a 20% correction, and then that's it. So if I was here, see that top and tail candle right there, but it did that all through here, which irritated the crap out of me because it had that rising channel in here and it broke up through the rising channel, and then I really started to despise Walmart. Like, you get your fanny back down here, because I know this is garbage. I know this is BS, but the most it's been doing is giving about a 23, and it comes off to the back of a really strong RSI and then a bear div. A really strong RSI and then a bear div. Um, Strong RSI right in here. Got the correction from there, and then it put in this bear div right here and got that little shooting star up here. I think you get about a 20% correction out of this one right here as well. And again, 20%. And I'm just going off the top to the low in here. I'm just going to go with the 20 even though it did a little bit more than that in some places, which would be just taking back all of this BS right through here. All of this garbage right here, that's some good money. That's some good money. So hopefully that was the rejection point from that golden pocket. And then it comes down and makes somebody, a nice living. I sure would like to think so. And then I was just looking at where it might actually try to stall out a little bit in here. Golden Pocket 786 obviously is trying to, but I see continuation. Structure broken, lower high. I see continuation. Really wanted to take out this low right here now, and then for sure you're in the game, right? And you'd be looking for that 20% correction. The rest of that 20% correction to play out here on Walmart. And I don't think that there was, yeah, Eli Lilly was nothing I needed to talk about. We're almost coming into that golden pocket 786 here on First Capital. And once that happens, let's see where we're at on our 4 hour. It looks like we're going to get a bounce right in here. It looks like we have the potential to get a bounce in here. Let me just see. I was admiring this one for the short, but by the time I decided to get to this chart, if you do futures or options for first, I mean futures or options period. Where are you at, dynamic duo? Yeah, so when we got in here the last time, that worked. Actually, I'm gonna go with this one right now. Me thinking that I can magically just push that circle through there. I'm gonna go with this one since the settings on the other one is a little bit different. But that's below I say 27. I try to round it up. So by the time it comes into here, it'll be below 27. You can start to look for a bounce. I don't like all of this chop stuff in here though. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. While I'm waiting on Bitcoin, still holding the golden pocket, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, I hate all of that. I hate all of that. It's starting to look a little bit better in here, but that's what I would look for. You don't have to actually leverage on this one either. You might have to sit on your hands for a little while, but you don't actually have to leverage on this one, and that's pretty good right here. I'm gonna take a look at Pony. I haven't looked at that one in a little while in here. And I said to you some time back that pony was a project. Do I not have pony in here? Why would I not have pony? That's wild. Huh. I don't even know what pony ticker is. Pony AI. There we go. I just know I got it. Let me see. Pony put in some bull divs through here, but it was bear diving beforehand. So you get what I'm saying to you. Like you have to know when you need to invalidate things and when it's going to work out for you. So we can see we got the bear divs down through here on pony, right through here for this breakout right here. Well, hopefully it doesn't do that too often. But I'm up really nicely on pony. I picked pony up. Um, Actually, pony did come back down against me for a sec there. But it was like 13 $13, $12 and something like that. But um, let me see if it did that any other time before we say we got some of the legitimate numbers. Tell you one thing that's working. And then you can see how it put in the divergence right here too. But if you were optioning this one right here and your time frame was good. There's nothing on here though. I don't see anything to do on this one. So I'm gonna let this go. I'll tell you what I was looking at though. I was looking at Kava. I was checking out Kava for the short option. Put here on this 4 hour. No, actually I got Kava on another I got Kava on another screen. Gosh, I hate that. Just go on. Just go on. So go with the little pin. I mean, it's been doing this repeatedly though, so you can't assume that that's going to be, your bottom or anything like that. Momentum is decreasing, getting lower and lower and lower. Eventually, I mean, once it drops down into something like this, and I get interested, like over here, how it dropped below 26. If it does something like that, then I'll get interested in doing something with it. But I need to see it do that first. Otherwise, I just think that it needs like some crazy sale, not this slow grindy stuff that it's doing right here. Here's Kava. So I was looking at Kava for the short. I actually took the paper trade short, took the paper trade option on it. Um, and just saying that it's gonna, when I looked at it, I think I put it in at 68. Yeah, 68 strike on it, for the correction down, and it had this rising structure through here. Let me see. Let me go to a 4. It had this structure right here, and then you can see how it broke through this point right here. But when I look here, I'm gonna come down some right here. Is this auto? Okay, just look kind of high. Yeah. So I was looking at this right here, and it's starting to play out now. That shit. And it had the bear div in here as well with the rising structure. So at best, maybe it only comes back down here towards that 66 or something like that. But over time, it could get worse and it could come down lower. Now, I actually like the fact that it had been holding in here, right across here. So I like that for this move up anyway. It was, if it got um, below 48, it was a buy. If it got below 48, it was an opportunity to take a long off of this rise in here for it. Otherwise, I don't like the choppy stuff. Probably not the best time frame for it either. But for now, that's what I was looking at here on the option. Uh, put put on Kava. All right, I'm gonna jump back over here on Bitcoin. I wanted to go through a few more, see if we can find something, but I mean, strategy, which I've already talked strategy already, and this isn't the usual chart I would have up for strategy. It's not the usual. I have another one that got all these different price notes, um, but I just started mapping this one yesterday, just kind of trying to see what we got happening here. This pattern like this right here usually does send it down. Maybe, hmm, but it's still in the support area. It's still in support area. But I don't like this. I don't like this right here. It's like a diamond pattern whenever I see this right here, and I don't like that one. Wow. I think this is about what we had our last support level at anyway for strategy for the area right here. Um, I think it is like right in here. It may have been like 130. It could have been 130, but I would just go off of that rise in momentum line in here on strategy. And that's only if it does slip this right here. Because I don't like this formation. I don't like this formation at all. I don't like that. Let's see. Tries to perform with Bitcoin, but it does actually worse. So at best right now, you can look for it to come back into this 886 and 786 again. Yeah, it's just in the middle of nowhere. If it break, yeah, did it bear this? No. Hmm. Yeah, if you're already short in this, then I'll probably look here next. If it, I mean, I'll look here first and then here. Look for this to get tapped again. I just don't like that. That's bearish right there. What the heck happened with oh, you know what? The other thing I didn't show you with gold, because currently what it did do when it rejected right here, it rejected the 200. So when this rejection right here happened, it happened with the 200. Yesterday we was looking at it bounce off of the 200, but you know you had the liquidity over here from the previous day low as well. Now you got the previous day low here, and you're hitting the 400. So it did good to manage to reclaim back up above this. But this is I'm just saying like it rejected off of that 200. That was a big thing for me yesterday, seeing that had actually happened. That rejection from that 200. I don't go any lower than the or any higher than the 400, and yeah, kapoots, kapoots. Somebody kicked my behind. Seriously, I should have taken my profit off of Zcash, and I was on here flashing like, "Hey, I didn't even realize that I was, still up that much. I was off of this position. I think I still had like 300% up at the time when we were right here, and I was like, I should just take this profit off of this, and I didn't, and now here we are. Um, or is this where we were at before? Were we here? Or is this the new one? This must be the new one. Yeah, this is the new 2.618, right here at 382. Jeez. Jeez. I know. I was doing this off of yeah, that's the new two, 2.2. This was the one that we last drew. This was the one where I was like, I should just take my profit, and I didn't. And we came up to the golden pocket 786 and got that rejection. And I was thinking it'll just do this one to one. That's why I did this. I was thinking one to one, that would be it. Maybe this is some sort of an ABC correction or something like that. But nah. It tried to bounce a little bit right there, and then it just straight up. Oof. That's what we got our bounce from the last time too, was the 236. Got a buy signal on it now. Let's put in a club foot again. And we're close to coming back into that VWAP, which I don't know how we do if we get back into the VWAP this time. Knew we had a We had the rising structure. We got the breakdown from that. Got the 236. Came up rejection 786. 236. Going for another bounce right here. I just want to see what. No, that's higher. So I don't want to do that one. See, I hadn't looked back at it since all the way back over here. This is just going to bear div. So it comes back up. You got yourself a short opportunity again here on Zcash. How much it might do. Zcash is a wild one. So let me put it on a 1 hour. No, I don't like that either. Yeah, I'll go with this. Oh, it doesn't look like it's going to get back up here this time. It doesn't look like it could do this time. I'm going to just do 50 and 382 on it. Yeah, I went by that bear div. It won't go back far enough for me to really see any of the other times. See one failure. I don't need to go back that far. I do see one failure. That's one failure. Nothing through there. And I don't understand why. Oh, that's because it's never been this low since right here. That's why. This was the last time it got this low. And probably the only time it had got that low. And that's what we took the trade from the last time. I posted on it was for the VWAP. That's where it happened at right there. And we're here now. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna wait on I'm gonna wait for a pivot to come in down here, some sort of a pivot to come in, like right here. I want to at least be closer to being correct, because that did it twice. And could have just did. But we don't have any structure in here right now. So I let this chop out a little bit. We did a V shape right here, but I mean, what happened? When I took it right here, I didn't even think about it. I didn't think about it at all. So I'm in my head right now. Yeah, when I took it there, I didn't even think about it. I just took it. You're at a low, at least according to this 4 hour, though. We're at a low according to this 4 hour. And if the RSI gives a little pivot, it'll make it a lot easier to make that decision. Did it do it over here? It did do it over here. You see how it did that? And you messed up the first time. You just would have. Yeah. So just leave that alone. SFP potential. I don't think it gets this close to liquidity, and you don't get an SFP after that big throw to the downside drop. So SFP, maybe it doesn't come back into VWAP this time. Maybe it just SFPs. If you take a SFP off of this and the SFP ends up not playing out for you, then I start to check out the VWAP, because at that point it could be putting in some sort of divergence. It did diverge a little bit. Let's see. A little bit over here, and that's another thing you could wait for too. See the divergence. See the divergence. Retracement. Golden pocket 786. And then take it like that. That'll probably be the easiest thing to do if you wanted to take a trade off of Zcash. Get the SFP. Um, Attempt the SFP, and if the SFP fails, you've already TP'd something, and then you got your stop to break even, and then your next opportunity would be once you start to see the bullish divergence start to come into play, and you can wait for that. Wait for a break from the bullish div and a back test into golden pocket, and then take the trade on it. But it, I can't say that this doesn't. Why is this orange line right here? Did I just do that? Oh, no, I did this. I might have had an alert set on that or something. Yeah. Low, 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 low. Might be there. Might be there. This could be it. Might be there. SFP. And then you'll see right here, I just highlighted this box right here. That's it. But right here is a low. It's your low is in here. It's coming in here. I'm just going to use this one, because we didn't tap this the last time. Anyway, Bitcoin still holding the box in here. I'm in the golden pocket. So I like the way we're stalling out in here. We maybe just giving this 4 hours some time to get its bearings together, because the 4 hour does look like it's prepping. It's prepping. I just want to ensure we don't get that extra move down, that extra little push into here. We hit all the other ones. I had mentioned Apple as a potential. Apple could be shaping up for a pump off of that 4-hour time frame. Oh, did you see the spider rejection that we got off of? Oh, I'm sure you fired off a sell signal too on SPX. Let me see where Alpha is. We were looking at it yesterday, but okay. So here's Apple coming into golden pocket and it got 786. And then don't forget that we're in this sort of, well, we have our trend line through here, but I'm not focusing on our trend line as much at the moment. It's another level we tried to hold and didn't manage to hold, but we are inside of the golden pocket right now. See if we can get some decent support off of out of here. Let me go daily. Daily's going to read differently. So maybe daily wants to do a little bit more because the rest of this is on extended hours. Okay. I thought I had measured this out, but I don't know if, let me see if I did or didn't. What's this? Oh, that's the first one we broke. I mean, that would suggest a trend line. That would. Hmm. Yeah. I think we get a bounce. I think we're going to get a bounce. May not be much, but it's going to give a bounce. And then if it wants to continue, then I start to look at the trend line wherever this 200 is sitting at in that moment. Let me see. I'm pretty sure this is VWAP. We'll see. No, VWAP is a little lower. This is 1 month. This is surprised we're not holding right here right now though. I mean, I don't know if we're holding here right now or not anyway, because market opens and then it might hold it. Let me move this so it doesn't look like it's a wick. I think the 4-hour does bounce um, right in here. Boy, we're looking terrible. I think this was a daily expansion. So let me see. Let me see that again for this daily, because I think that was a daily expansion. Yeah, and I was looking for that too, because I knew if we lost this right here, potential head and shoulder formation, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, daily expansion. Crap. Put on 24-hour. It would have to be a swift move to get price back up here towards this daily level right here, towards that 266. It'd have to be a quick candle, like it'd have to be something like this right here. Um, I just hate to fade this right here because this is still, you're not even coming back into this. You're not even coming back inside of that band. So you could look to continue on the short instead, which that's the direction. You could just be sitting on your hands and waiting for that. Yeah, at best, if it does get the bouncy on the 4 hour time frame, maybe right here at this daily would be it. It can still come down. Actually, it can still come down. No, yeah, it hasn't even made an attempt. Like that's how, like, whoa, hasn't even made the attempt just yet. I think you get back there though. I think it at least. I'm gonna put it on where it is now. Wherever, make sure I'm on the right on price action. That's very premature. The momentum has to shift first, and once the momentum starts to come up, then it's worth talking about. Right now, it's not even getting halfway up this candle. By the time it does that, it's a more productive position to be in. I would not have tried that here. I just wanted to see 236 off of such an aggressive candle. 236. 236. 382. Well, at least on the 4 hours, not trading outside of the band anymore. It's an inside candle. stays an inside candle. That's rather close. Well, let's just for a sec pretend it stays as an inside. This is overkill, but that's a starter. Perfect. Maybe I should bring this down a little bit more, but I'm just basing this on this thing as an inside bar because it's very premature until at least until momentum actually turns up. And right now it's not. Like it's very weak. It has to turn up. There's something else I looked at. Um, Up on Uber. Up on Uber. So we were looking at Uber. That's the first time Uber and it broke this. Is this our top or our low? Oh, that's our top. That's our top. What's I looking at it here? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. So perfect. Yeah, so I'm up on Uber. I didn't realize that sound had dropped all the way back into into these levels. I did not. I did not. The last time we talked about sound, we were looking for sound to get to $20, and we made it. And as soon as we hit it, we dropped back in. And I didn't realize that it had fell in this much until I looked at it yesterday. I don't know why I got this. Where is these three right here coming from? I don't know. That's weird that they're sitting in here. So weekly level holding that support. It looks like it's going to go from here. Yeah, it's another one that, no, this one's not overkill. This has been its average. This has been its average. That's the first time it just kind of fell through that too. It's coming back up now. I like this. And it's on the weekly level too. About 2 candles in on this weekly time frame. I like it. So let's see if it won't come back up. And let me figure out why. Oh, okay. It was something daily. I'm like, why is that showing up in there? I like it. I'm not going to be pushing for, and I haven't checked to see if any new weekly levels printed either since, I just haven't looked at it. Might be something for me to consider, taking another position off of sound. Yes, I do like that. Yeah, I'm game. I'm game for this one. So that's looking good. And let me see, because I didn't do a fib thing on this the last time. I just went with my weekly levels. I just want to see what that hit. Okay, so 786 was up there. I wouldn't shoot for 786 again. I definitely shoot for the golden pocket. Yeah, I definitely shoot for the golden pocket. Yep. This is about to happen. This is about to happen. This right here. And I'm on live saying it, so I believe it. So face it. That's about to happen. What was our Tesla doing? 431. Bitcoin still just ranging. Hope I don't have a whole bunch of noise in here. Amazon, Tesla. All right, so that's that standard one. And this was also, I think, our EMA. No, it wasn't. I thought we had something. I guess we didn't. Yeah, I guess we didn't. That's what Bitcoin looks like right now, unfortunately. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens, and nothing I can do about it. Sometimes, I guess people are just that bearish. Most of the time, it doesn't happen. Most of the time, it doesn't. This is low enough this time, though. I mean, it was low enough there too, but this is low enough this time that if it holds here, it won't put in a bear day of this time because it'll be looking at this top right here. Now you might get some um what do you call it? I'm just gonna call it external bear dip. You might get something like that, but as far as your local pivot goes, you won't get a bear dip off of it this time. If it manages to come back, swing back up this weekly level in here, hold the standard deviation too. Maybe just back to VWAP again. It must be like an outside, must be an outside bar. Got to have an outside bar looking at that. It's not there. It's an outside bar somewhere. Oh, there isn't one. It just looks like there's an outside bar somewhere. No, there isn't one though. That's crazy. I'm gonna force this outside bar, but it's something because otherwise it wouldn't be making that formation. It wouldn't be doing. And this is what gold is doing right now. If you don't know, this is what gold is doing. Also, it's doing a megaphone pattern. I can show you. You see right through here. That's the same thing that gold was doing right through here, doing like this megaphone pattern. I think earlier I had it. I don't know. I haven't. I think I may have taken it off of that top right there, but it has been like a megaphone pattern. But that's what, yeah, as we're seeing that with Tesla. That's exactly what that is. And this had lost to 200 too, didn't it? On this 4 hour, it did. At least it didn't come up and reject from it. I didn't even think about that when I was saying this could be a nice little correction here on the 4 hour earlier, but now it might come up and reject the might come up and reject that 400. I mean that 200. Yeah, may come up and come no higher than this right here this time. Off of this little, off of the standard deviation. Otherwise, we're looking down here towards the momentum line in here for it to hold for a little while. Ultimately, like I know this is going to take about another month before it plays out. It would be something like again 315. That's what I'm shooting for, 315. But right now, right now you'll get some bounces in between. I got an alert set on this, but it had already fired off. It had fired off the short signal in here. We were talking about this yesterday, and I had dropped in this, and we were talking about how it came up and it it hit second target. and it started to reject a little bit in there, but yeah, it fired off this signal yesterday. It was right off of that nice little break of that trend line right there too. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I know what you're trying to do right now. But I think it was like at a, let's see, and yeah, I had an alert set on this right here too because I wanted to see where the momentum was actually going to, push prices down even further. And then my alarm, my alert had went off on it. I got the two on gold. My alert had went off on it yesterday, and I was like, why do I have an alarm going off on Spider? And I was like, oh, okay, it's getting that drop, but. If it's going to continue, it's going to fail through here. It's going to fail through here if it's going to continue. Otherwise, I might reclaim it. So if it fails, we got this to look forward to. If it fails, trying to come back into the, regain that momentum and have this trend line in here to look forward to. And I mean, this is just a daily time frame. But if you start to see them bear divs come in, like over here, then you'll know it's probably not going to master getting a decent push to the upside until it comes back up here. But if it does the bear divs, it it starts bear div, and I can just use that one as a good example. But if it starts the bear div, that it bear dived all the way through here, then you know it's coming lower. You're waiting on the mean reversion. This didn't look anything like this right here, though. It didn't look that desolate. And over here, it didn't do as much damage right here. So I guess it's not going to be a good indication. Delta's coming up. MACD's still pretty close to the zero line. Yeah, people may be looking to short it after that, though. So possibly a golden pocket, 786 retracement, and then it continues down. It's rather high. I'd rather see it more bearish than that. It comes up that high. I don't know. I would rather reject off of something like that than come up that high. Maybe even a 50 in here. If it comes up that high, then, it might just continue. Not really anything given on this one just yet. I mean, I know I could add this in here. I just didn't want to. Let me see what you look like in that case. Oh, you're perfect like that. This must be the bear div. Yes, you are. Failure to hold here is going down. So it's basically trying to hold this little top right here. And if it doesn't hold this right here, then that's it. It's outside of its norm. If it does that, then it'll be that. It's outside of its norm. It held it all through here. It's kind of hard to call it like that, but every time, every time. So you have to set it to 28. Um, 'Cause right now this is standard. And this is double. Q's even fired off signal. Possible. Possible. But it has to stall out right there. It has to stop right there. And then you got a head and shoulder. And then if you get the head and shoulder on the Q, I'm just gonna set it over for an hour or so later. Something like that. Like that makes perfect sense that would measure down towards the trend line right here. If that happens, I would be looking for a rejection on the Qs at 624. Let me see if there's anything in here that would suggest that. That was the 4. No, it's the 1 hour. I'm sorry. 4 hours suggests still looks fine. So let me look back up here at this one on this time frame. I can't use this for the 4 hour. See if there's anything I can use. Other than your MACD, but that's only worked right through here. Huh. If you get this wrong, you're going to be at risk too. If you get this wrong, because I'm bearish. But if you get it wrong, the net expansion go to the upside. But I'm bearish. Only other thing I can think to use that always works. Let me see on the monthly. Bitcoin still holding that golden pocket tight. We waiting on market open. I'm telling you, we waiting on market open. That was a signal it had fired off one time before, and right here. But this might be wrong for this time frame. So we know we got a higher bear div. That would be the back test though. And I think we had already mentioned something along that effect. I know I was talking about VWAP. This is the first VWAP. Cues. No squeeze in here, which means it could actually just drop all the way down here with no hassle. I'm bearish. I don't too much care to use the center off of these time frames right here. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, but it looks like it's gonna come all the way back down here to this trend line right now. That's what I'll be looking for today. It's for that. Just waiting on Bitcoin. I'm gonna jump back over there on Bitcoin. Oh, all right. We're absolutely waiting until market opens, and it's past my time to get out of here anyway. I mean, I'm just going to say this one last time right here on this right here. We have been putting in bear divs. Okay, so we didn't put in a bear div there that time. That's a good thing right there. I would continue to watch out for the bear divs because that again has been why we have continued to just sell off in here. But 4 hour is coming to a conclusion. It's somewhere in between where we are right now with the golden pocket and the 786 and the VWAP right here. So golden pocket 786 and VWAP all right here. So golden pocket, VWAP, 786, and our momentum trend line is all through here. 4 hour Looks like it wants to give that cool off from the selling pressure to hopefully send us up to it's bear div. That bear div. Just bear div after bear div. And if we don't manage, really this is the most important level right now, this golden pocket where we're just kind of stalling out right now until market opens to see what they want to do. If we're not managing to hold that, um, you don't have to be a bottom catcher. Yeah, we're not managing the whole. You don't have to be a bottom catcher. Just wait for the right candle to pop up because the 4 hour will represent that, or we will see that on whatever time frame, and then that'll give us a bounce that's nice enough for the 4 hour. Because we're at risk right now with taking out the liquidity down here. So don't try to be a bottom catcher, I suppose. I mean, if you're testing out the golden pocket, great. But I wouldn't, if it fails on the golden pocket, I would at that point wait until some other validation comes in. But I wouldn't take it at the golden pocket and then have to cut the trade and then re-enter on the golden pocket again and cut the trade and re-enter on the just stay away from the area if it's not working. Because obviously it's not working. This is what we had on the RSI too, not too long ago, but we did that. Where were we at doing that before? Same thing is going to go for Ethereum with the bearish divergence. Be sure you're checking for the bearish divergence. Once you come above 50, check for a bear div. And Solana was luckily not in this spot right here. It's not, at least on this 15-minute, it's not outside of that, but that's already played out on this one. I know we had the bear div across there. Yeah, it's not actually putting in any bear divs, not there anyway, not that I can tell. Yeah, I don't see the bear divs. And Solana actually had two. We had two regression lines in here on Solana. So yeah, again, Sol holds here, Sol's okay. Sol doesn't hold here, where we are right now, which was what, a 382? Was that a 382? Yeah. Sol doesn't hold 382, then you start looking at the golden pocket 786. But right now, Sol holding at 382. It's doing better in terms of holding itself. But if it loses that 382, then momentum is not there, and then you can look for that golden pocket 786. But we also know that this was also the top side of that prior momentum line right here as well. This is just the same thing we were just looking at. Yeah, so if it's losing that, then you have no choice but to look back down here. I mean, how much worse can it get? Come back to the value area low. Come back to that 786. I don't think it gets that worse. Okay, with that said, I'm going to call it a stream. $8.30 is going to be something. $8.30, we got the unemployment claims. So they're stalling for that. Oh, we already hit unemployment claims, did we not? Today is the 28th, correct? Hold on. Yeah, we already got unemployment data. It's past 8:30. Came in good. Forecast is 213. Came in at 208. It's just waiting on market to open to see how it wants to respond to that information. But I mean, it came in good. Came in good. So, oof. I'll see you in the morning, 6 a.m. I'm down to Crypto TA. This is the Coin Kings channel. I'm just the host with the most. And have a safe and prosperous trading day.